Clarence, so Self-Made was about Madam C.J. Walker, and I think you were the person who knew about her in class. You know, we mentioned how she was a self-made millionaire, really the first female millionaire in this country. And it's a great movie that they put out on Netflix. I don't think that they stuck totally to her story. I think they added some things, and some people disagreed with some of what they added. So you have to check it out. But I think overall it was a good production. So I wanted to show first her a snippet of that movie about Madam C.J. Walker, and then us talk about her biography. I want to share my screen, and I hope this works. But I want us to look at some of the vocabulary from her biography, and then we'll look at one other person and do the same thing. And we'll practice just using our dictionary and then finding words that mean the same thing, right? Really the dictionary, but also thesaurus. So self-made story of, let's see if this is going to work, Clarence. Bear with me. All right. I want to share my screen. Let's see. Here we go. Okay, here she is. Let's see if it'll work. I hope. Keep your fingers crossed. Okay, can you see it?
Yes, ma'am.
I'm going to make sure that I scroll up here and it's better. So is that better?
Yes, ma'am. I can see the screen.
Okay, this is just a short snippet, and all of the actresses and actors did a great job. Again, some of the storyline I think had more to do with creativity than actual fact, but that's all right. We'll talk about that in just a moment. So I'm going to play that now, and let's make sure the sound's up too.
These are the darkest of times for Europe and indeed the rest of the world.
Police don't fighting on the right side. Everybody thinks that. Every war they ever fight. So much has changed.
You've changed.
To save this girl's life, you're gonna have to marry her. Be careful. The game just got bigger. Did you?
I am the officer in charge, and they are coming with us.
World on Fire, now streaming only on PBS.
Was born to struggle.
The story of Madam C.J. Walker almost seems written for Hollywood. The daughter of former slaves rises to become the first African-American female millionaire in the early 1900s. But until recently, it hadn't been told on TV or in movies.
She would not allow anyone to dictate her destiny. And that type of mettle is something that young people should know and aspire to.
I know what it's like to not have running water or products made for it.
Octavia Spencer, who won an Oscar for her role in The Help, plays Madam Walker in the new Netflix series Self-Made.
Madam C.J., she was a standard bearer in my home. We were from very humble beginnings, and my mother used her as an example of what we could be, because she was also from very meager beginnings.
The series, which is inspired by the life of Madam C.J. Walker, shows the birth of Walker's business career. Born Sarah Breedlove, she was a washerwoman who found her confidence and a business idea when her badly damaged hair was repaired using a treatment from a fellow businesswoman, Annie Malone. Much of the information known about Walker comes from the biography written in 2002 by her great-great-granddaughter, Alelia Bundles.
It had been optioned a couple of times before, and those fell through. But we have this perfect storm now after Oscar's So White and the success of a number of films that had mostly black cast and telling stories that hadn't been told before. So this seemed to be Madam's time, and it really is amazing. It's 100 years after she died.
When she was younger, Bundles struggled with what to make of her family's legacy.
The meme on Madam Walker was, Madam Walker invented the hot comb. I was very ambivalent about that, and especially as a young person who wanted an afro in 1970.
Bundles discovered that Madam Walker advocated for all kinds of beauty and actively fought back against traditional beauty standards that valued lighter skin and straight hair.
Everybody wants a light, bright gal with thicker hair. You and me, we got to work harder, be smarter.
can't get rich. From now on, I'm putting my face on all the ads and the tins.
Are you shocked that, say, for example, colorism, which comes up in this story, is still around today? I mean, how is it that it is still something that is a source of such stress?
It's interesting that it is still a part of the culture, but not just within black culture. I mean, it's colorism is a part of a lot of cultures.
Yeah. It's why I love what we do as storytellers. Sometimes you have to light the flame.
Blair Underwood plays Madam's husband, C.J. Walker. Underwood says he hopes Madam Walker's story moves viewers to think about their own lives.
People often ask, what do you want people to come away with? I just want them to be inspired. Our job is to entertain, draw you in, take the journey. But at the end of the day, be inspired to think and know that you can do what this person did. That's why true stories always sell more.
Madam Walker's success did not come easily. She had to overcome traditional beliefs about gender roles, both in her work and at home with Mr. C.J. Walker.
You ain't listening. Her idea, her product, her money.
My name. There's conflict within him, C.J. Walker, Charles Joseph Walker, being in her shadow, that he would call out within himself, and then his father calls him out in our story. But the world in which you live looks at you askew and sideways when you're not maybe making the money that your wife is making in the late 1800s, early 1900s.
Madam C.J. really understood entrepreneurship and what it meant for black people. And she wanted to build that station not just for women, but for the men as well. But the men did not want that type of aid. They did not want to see women in that light. And she was not the type of person to dim her light.
In Hollywood, African Americans during that period are either incredibly poor, or if they're rich, they're gangsters. But in this film, there's a lot of men in three-piece suits. There's women dressed well.
You're right. In film, we don't see it too often. We talk about that.
Yes.
I think the one, I can't be the last time, but one of the few times I'd seen it was Ragtime with Howard Rollins years ago.
Yes.
That was in the 80s.
While the story shows many true events from Madam C.J. Walker's life, not all of the series is entirely factual. Walker's great-great-granddaughter, A'Lelia Bundle, says she hopes the series will spark greater curiosity in the true events of Walker's life.
I think with any author, you watch your, 200 and some pages be condensed into a short script and 4 45-minute episodes, and they can't tell everything. But what I see is that already Madam Walker's story has blown up exponentially. There are people all over the world who are going to hear her name and I hope be inspired by her courage.